Hello class, this is a video tutorial on the relationship of rates, concavity, and graphs. In this video, we're actually going to do firstly a quick revision, depending on how familiar you are. First bit I'd like for you to do is locate all the points of these critical points in all of the graphs here. And then, using calculus notation, write out the definitions. So these two, let's demonstrate. F and L, I'm saying, are points of inflection from concave up to concave down. So F, let's see, it's concave up here, and then concave down. F is indeed point of inflection up. L is the same thing. It is concave up, concave down. It is indeed a point of inflection concave up, concave down. You can see here, this is the definition of a point of inflection. I'm specifying it here to show you. It says the second derivative is equal to 0, and it shows that, now clarifying a to the power of negative. A to the power of negative just states a value to the left of a. And a positive is a value to the right of a. You can see, to the left of a, the second derivative is greater than 0, up. And to the right of a is less than 0, so it's concave down. That is the definition that I'm looking for. You can pause and give this a go yourself. I'm going to reveal all the answers, because that's not the critical thing that we're doing here. But we're going to use that as a really. Okay, so now let's take a look at the actual skill that we're going to be doing. We're going to draw the derivative on top of these. And then once we've drawn it, you see the relationship of these critical points as to what they will look like in the first derivative when you sketch them. So I'm going to do this first one in depth, and then we'll see in other videos this being done more quickly. So here we go. Remember, we are sketching y equals f prime of x on top of these. So I'm going to do this in 2 steps. You don't have to go this in depth, but I'm going to demonstrate to you how we think of this. So for example, this point. Let's label this point here. Let's call that x1. It really doesn't matter what it is. But now, f prime of x1 says, what is the gradient at this point? Well, it's positive. It is a positive gradient, and it is very steep. Let's just say that that gradient is 20. We don't know exactly what it is based off the graph, but let's just say that point is 20. So y equals 20. So at x1, y is 20. So it's all the way up here. That's just an approximation. It's not exact. Let's now take a look at the next point. Let's call this point here. Let's call that x1. This point is now x1. No longer 20. Let's say now, if we were to draw a tangent at that point, that tangent, just for the sake of this explanation, because we can't know what it is exactly, is, let's just say it's 10. So it has half. So at x1, it is now going to be 10 halfway. You see that as we keep moving along, let's draw a new point. Let's say this point here. That point is now x1. What is the tangent at that point? As you can see, it's getting less. So let's just say it's 5 this time. And so if we were to sketch that point, it's down all the way, actually, here. And you see that at E, we're going to have a stationary point, so let's change this to E. So at point E, it's actually going to be a stationary point. So if we were to sketch E, it's going to be at the x-intercept. So this section, if we were to sketch it, will look something. Now let's draw this section. Well, from E to F, it is again positive, so we know it's going to look something like this. But we see that from E to F, it is increasing at an increasing rate. But then from F to G, it is increasing at a decreasing rate. Think about this. E to F is increasing at an increasing rate. Then from F to G, increasing at a decreasing rate. That must mean at E, there is a point where the gradients are as steep as it's going to get. So it looks something like this. Then you can see by the same logic, when you see that this section looks kind of like this, it's going to come back to be a stationary point at G. It's going to become something like this. And then from here, from G to H again, that segment, it's anymore, this segment is going to be, well, decreasing at an increasing rate. So it's going to get steeper and steeper. But then from H, that's G to H. But then from H to infinity, it is decreasing at a decreasing rate. So that means this point should be a turning point because it is as steep as it's going to get. So H, at H, this segment has, it has negative gradients, and then from H onwards is back to, you can see it's getting closer to zero. So something like this, H. But now let's think about decreasing at a decreasing rate now. That's it. Now let's think about what's happening from this point onwards. The function is getting closer and closer to zero. So that means the tangent values are also getting closer and closer to zero. So this is what the gradient function should look like. I'll repeat one more time for this. Hopefully we can get through this quickly. It is positive gradients approaching zero. But then it is positive gradients again approaching, so it's increasing. But then from the point of inflection to the next stationary point, it has to go back to zero. And then from G to H, these are negative gradients, hence why below the x-axis. And H is the steepest it's going to get. There should be a point that it turned. And then from H onwards, it is approaching a stationary point. This is approaching zero as its gradient. That is what this tangent function, or the gradient function, sorry, should look like. All right, so I hope it's giving you an insight into how we can sketch the gradient on top of functions. Hope to see you in the next video where we take on these next two examples. Hope to see you then, and best of luck.